Where the fuck is McClay?
Usually, I ask before the show. We're very obviously pawned it.
Well, no, we could just do it after here. Is that cool?
It's up to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Is that cool?
All right.
The Bogcast episode 67 with Eva and Kim.
And then you can just go ahead and set it down. Thank you. Don't feel bad. I'm right there with you. All right, let's do it. Action.
Awesome. This is the Bogcast, episode 67. We are brought to you by Bang Salon. Come get all your hair needs, including cuts, natural colors, vivid colors, extensions, shampoos and shampoo and styling, all under one roof at Bang Salon. Find and message Bang Salon on Instagram at Bang Salon, at BANGDSALON. Use promo code
Bogcast
for 20% off your first visit. So come on down and get banged by Jordan. But if you really try to bang her, I'll fucking kill you. Cool.
Check us out on Spotify, Google Play, all your favorite podcatchers. Make sure to check us out on YouTube, obviously, and comment, subscribe, like, let us know what you think of the guest. Thanks.
Sweet. We have actually two awesome guests in the house today. Two co-founders of the Worldwide Women's Film Festival.
Thank you for saying that right.
I did? Okay, cool. I practiced a few times.
We get so many different variations of that. It's not even funny. It's
True.
like, it's just kind of pretty straightforward, but, you know, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to turn you up a little bit. Hang on a second. Keep talking.
So how'd you guys get into starting a showcase for women's movies?
So I'll turn that over to Kim.
Well, thank you, Eva. Well, I had this idea for a women's film festival for many years. And then Eva and I were working on a film that was a woman ensemble piece. And we shot it, and then we were doing promotions for it. And Michelle Allen goes, "Hey, Kim, you know that idea that you have for that film festival? You should talk to Eva. She can help you." I'm like, I don't want to talk to her, but not in a bad way. It's just,
That's what she's saying now, right?
Well, no, I didn't know her that well, except from the film shoot.
Yeah.
So, you know, and so towards the end, the announcer goes, "So, ladies, what's next for all of you?" And Michelle Allen looks at me and goes, "Kim's got an idea."
Put you on the spot.
Oh, did she ever? And I'm like, oh, fine. So I said, yeah, I got an idea for a women's film festival. And Eva just happened to be sitting next to me. She goes, "Oh, I can put one of those on. That's easy." And then somebody else says, "Oh, I could probably get you a sponsor." I'm like, oh, okay. Well, then let's put on a show then.
Hell
Nice.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
So, you know, a couple of weeks after that, Ava and I met, and we talked seriously about putting this together. And we formed a corporation around it.
How long ago was this?
We started planning in 2017.
2016,
Oh,
actually.
actually 2016. But we were going to do it in 2017. However, you know, I had some health issues. They got better. Yay. Ava had some health issues. She got better. Yay. So 2017 really didn't work. So we pushed it out to 2018.
And honestly, it was really a 2018 start. Only reason why is because I do festivals, so that wasn't my first one that I'd been involved with. But from an event management perspective, I always have a 2-year calendar that I run by. So when we came up with the idea in 16, whilst we kicked off in 17, literally because you have to kick off the submissions process.
True.
So that was really kind of
You have to
the
start
plan.
way in advance for
You have
all
to
of that.
start, you
Yeah.
have to. But the big thing is for the film that we did an Indiegogo campaign, but we had zero following. We had zero anything when we launched the Indiegogo campaign. Now, my team, my company, actually facilitated that, and that's how we got like a lot of awareness to it. So for me, I do marketing and promotions anyway. So I'm one of those that, you know, plans and does all these kind of like 1 year plan, 2 year plan, whatever. But for events specifically, I always tell people you have to start at least 6 months to a year back before you actually want to launch. If you want to be successful. I mean, you can do an event and not be successful.
Yeah, true.
But I'm like, this has got our names on it. We actually formed a company.
Yeah.
Like a real company.
Yeah.
And you can't, like for me, if I do business, I do business like you're supposed to do business. And Kim's kind of the same way. That's the only reason, again, we're partnered, because I wouldn't just go into business with anybody. You guys know this.
You saw our passion and drive behind
exactly.
it and seriousness.
Yeah. And I do business coaching, personal coaching. I help people realize their dreams. That's part of my
Is that through chronic behavior?
Yeah, that's through chronic behavior. And so when she came with this idea, and I said, yeah, this is her passion. This is her idea, but it fits along the things that I do from, supporting, not only women, but just the industry. And I said, yeah, let's do it. And and that's the thing, is she had tried, I think you said you had talked to several people before.
Oh, yeah. Right. It started in, I think, 2002 was when I was actually a part of a group of some women that we were going to launch it, and it fell apart for whatever reason. And then I talked to other people. They said, yeah, I'm interested, but I don't want to help plan it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work to put yourself out there in front.
It is.
And you have to be willing to take on that role. I guess that person that said, hey, I can't plan it, thank them for saying that, right?
Oh,
Instead
no
of
shit,
saying,
huh? Blessing in disguise.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of thing.
Well, that original planning committee, there was 3 other women and myself. 2 of them live in L.A. now, and then the other lady still lives here. So, it would be kind of hard for them to help if they live in L.A.
Yeah.
So,
So, what I might have missed it when I was doing the sound, but what inspired you to want to start the festival in the first place? Just your love for film and just wanting to put women on the map.
Basically, yeah, that's what the original impetus was to give women a voice, so their stories can be told, and to get, like a sisterhood of filmmakers together. Like if somebody wants to work with like an all-female crew, they can, hey, do you know if sound? Yeah, use her and stuff like that. So yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, and just so you know, even the idea was before the prevalence of women in film and all of the other things that were happening, for instance, like in Hollywood on the Me Too movement. Because for us, and I'll just say for me personally, I do a lot of women empowerment stuff, but I don't do it for the sake of like being a women's libist or being an extremist on, no, we don't work with anybody but women.
Oh, I never thought of you like that.
But there's a lot of people that do.
Yeah, really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's talk about that, because I wasn't.
You're already setting when you start that company, you're already setting yourself up on an uphill battle.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no shit.
And the thing is, kind of how I decided, for my perspective, was that first off, the name, Kim was really gracious to allow me to help come up with the names for the festival. And one of the reasons why I went worldwide is because I don't like to do anything small. So I'm like, like we can do this worldwide. The
submissions are obviously worldwide, not just Phoenix based.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
awesome. Totally.
We'll be. This is
that
our
was
third.
A dumb question.
No, that's okay. We're in our 3rd year, and we literally have had submissions. The first years they came from like 43 plus different countries total over the first 2 years, and now we're into year 3, and it's been another like 6 different countries. So now we're going to be around 60 different countries.
Holy
that have
shit!
Submitted to our festival.
That's amazing.
From coast to coast, and we've had people that have traveled from Ireland, from China, from Toronto, from South America, Mexico.
Not Croatia, but Trinidad.
Oh, Trinidad. Trinidad.
Yeah.
You're getting to meet all these awesome people,
So,
filmmakers from all around the world. That's incredible.
It is.
And the thing is the social presence that now exists, right? The capability to really have those type of relationships with people all over the world, just
the
because
internet,
of social media, right? But one of the things that I have to do a shout out for, that's kind of a base system that has helped us, is Film Freeway. I'm sorry, I have to do a plug for them.
Yeah.
And the thing is they started with they started this, I don't even know how many years ago, but when they started, there was Without a Box. There was a few other programs out there. And they always had problems. But Film Freeway actually has slowly progressed in understanding kind of what I see, the needs, not only of a filmmaker, but the needs of a film festival. And now they are the top film festival, organization, that helps people submit and manage their festivals. And I'm just saying, when you get into business, you want automated systems and tools to help you do that. And hands down, I'm an IT geek. I have a software background. I've been in the industry for over 30 years working with software platforms for companies. So what Film Freeway has done is they've taken the corporate side, but they've made it accessible to entrepreneurs, to first-time people doing anything in film.
Like user-friendly?
And yes, and it is very. And the cost to use that platform are actually very reasonable. It's not, everybody has to make some money off of what they're doing. And they do it to make it's just accessible. And I think that's one of the things that, you don't hear a lot of people talk about the platforms that they're using. But if I didn't have a solid platform, there is no way we could do this festival, because the amount of work and energy that goes into the buildup of it, the promotion of it, the setting up of everything, that's not on Film Freeway. But if you didn't have Film Freeway, oh my God. I don't even know how they used to do it before those systems existed.
I don't know how they used to do anything before what we have now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So that's just a shameless plug for them.
Yeah.
But I'm like, that's what made it possible for us, and because I'm the techie, I do all the back end.
Yeah.
So I do everything there is to make the festival run from a technology perspective.
Yeah, just smooth and
So how important is that social media work? It's got to be up there 1, 2, or 3, right?
Yeah. Marketing and business, you should be spending 75% of your time and your money on marketing if you want to make it, and you want to make business, and you want people to know who you are. And it's not just about getting the customers as brand awareness, right? So for us, it's 100% everything about that. But it's not just social media. It's PR. It's the press releases. It's the publicity. It's doing these type of interviews.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for having us on the show. And then social media is kind of like the bonus piece. That's where you can actually you can reach a lot of people. I use 4 major platforms. So LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Those are the main platforms, and then we have a few others that are out there as far as I have because I do marketing promotions, I do my own press releases, and we have somebody that's doing PR for us because we don't have time to do our own PR. And then we have I have people that work with my company that help specifically on social media as well, because it's just 24/7. You don't stop, but you have to take breaks and you have to strategize. So we have a huge my team, because I handle a lot of that. We do the marketing plan for the festival, and it is a plan, and we have a strategy, and we have things time boxed and how we're going to do it, and it's constant, and we're coming up with innovative ways to promote and doing a lot more what I would say bringing the filmmakers into the story, or bringing in the sponsors into the story, so people really understand that's how you make it happen from a community, building the community of it.
So you endear people to the event, to the movie, to whatever.
Yeah.
You need to have them feel like they're part of it.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you guys got some awesome sponsors.
Oh my God.
Do we ever?
Panavision,
Lordy.
Holy shit, they're sponsored by Panavision.
Yeah, I'll just pull out my little thing.
Yeah, I'll let Ava
this is probably
take that one over.
the pride and joy.
Yes, of our festival.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
We did.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
And that story is that every year.
So real quick, for people that aren't watching.
I know.
Yeah.
I meant to talk to you about that.
We're terrible about
it. We got to describe it for the audio listeners only.
We're gonna talk about it, but I had to pull out an article that was written about what happened.
Yeah. So for people that are just listening, she's got a little press release thing here that says Panavision donates $60,000 prize to the winner of the Worldwide Women's Film Festival. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes,
And so our sponsorship thing is every year And this is every festival that does this. You have a plan of what you're going to do. You're going to open submissions, and then you start immediately looking for sponsorship right out the gate.
Exactly.
You don't even
You
take
just
a break.
put like a press kit together and just say,
Yep.
you know, this is
Yep.
what we're doing.
Yeah,
and then
I have a sponsorship deck.
I'm sure you send out thousands, and you know some of them bit, and then
I wish it could be thousands. But
Yeah.
not thousands,
That's a
but
lot of
yeah.
work. That is a
Once
lot
I say
of
is it's a
work.
numbers game, and
Oh,
eventually
it's
some of them
totally.
will bite.
Yeah, and the thing is, Kim kind of takes the lead on starting that process, and because I'm doing a lot of the other stuff, so we have to split responsibilities. Which is,
So it's just you two. Do you guys have a team? Or?
yeah, we have.
Yeah.
We actually have a team, but we're kind of the structure and the foundation of
Yeah.
it. Then we have key people that help us with volunteering, and then we have the social media piece, and then we have the day of operations, and then I've got mini me's that are running around.
Yeah.
Mini
I'm
me's.
like,
I love
no,
it.
I have two of them,
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah.
How do I get one?
And I'm like, I don't know. I'm not sharing, so just don't ask. That's not happening. But anyway, so Kim started the process back when we started in 2016 and 17. And so basically what she does is she'll send out emails, just like you said. She'll send out emails. She'll start, identifying possible people that we could talk to. Well, this year I wanted to amp up the game, and not only for the festival, but for what I've been doing in filmmaking. As you know, I'm a filmmaker as well. And so I've been out there getting into the industry, and I've always been kind of an industry representative. But I ended up going to New Mexico Film Expo, or their conference that they had. And when I went not knowing, hey, what that
I
experience
hate to
was
ask
gonna
this,
be.
but
That
I hate to even make you
want me?
hold the
Oh, no,
fucking
that's
mic.
fine.
I'm so
That's
sorry.
fine. No, that's okay.
One day we're gonna stand.
No, that's
we'll afford
okay.
to stand.
No, that's fine. Get a sponsor now.
Yeah, we're trying. No, that's why I'm asking you these questions.
Yeah, no. So anyway, so at that conference, the awesome thing is they have vendors, and then they had the presentations. Well, the vendors were outside, the conference is inside. I'm outside with the vendors because I'm like, look, I have a lot more that I can talk to the vendors about than what they were doing inside the conference, which was kind of funny for me.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. But they had excellent vendors. And I mean, like, just they had great lighting people. They had Light Iron was there. Panavision was there. They had another whole other organization that did production. And they were like top people. Well, so Light Iron is there with Panavision. They have their big 8K camera poster out there. I was like dying because I'm such a
Geeking out,
techie. I
yeah.
was, and they saw how geeked out I was, which was nobody else was there, which was really funny because I was like,
I'm a camera nerd too. I'd
I'm
be like,
so I'm talking all this stuff with him because I'm just getting my first 4K camera in August, right at the same time. And so I'm going through that. And then I met the Light Iron representative, and she saw how passionate I was about the festival because I was telling her, and she's like, okay, well, here's my contact info. Reach out to me. So when I got back, I had sent an email and I said, hey, great. It was awesome to meet you. And then she immediately forwarded it over to Panavision, who is obviously Light Iron is a sub of Panavision. So they have that relationship. And so then Panavision said, hey, let's set up a meeting. I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's set up a meeting.
where's that at?
And no, it was just on the phone. And
Okay.
yeah, they're
Hey,
they're
that's
in
that's
Hollywood.
something.
That's
Yeah,
another crazy thing. I mean, we
Right.
forget.
Yeah.
Like, it's so much easier to do stuff like that.
But I have to go. But here's the thing. I always tell people, things happen when you move. When you move the energy.
when you make moves.
Yeah, when you are going places, you're doing things, you're meeting new people, you're putting yourself out there. Now you've left where you were, and now you've moved all that energy you have somewhere else, and you get to meet other people, and you get their energy. That's exactly what happened. Is that I feel like it was a catalyst for me to go there, to actually put my face in front of them. I didn't even know they were going to be there. It just happened. But the awesome thing is, we had our meeting. I had talked to them on the phone. Kim had actually emailed them for the first 2 years, and they said, no, we want to wait till we can get involved with something bigger.
We like you, but not right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And part of it was that, 1 year, 2 year, I mean, hey, we're still getting our feet wet and, getting things going. So in year 3, we have this conversation, and they're like, yeah, we want to get involved, and so we'd like to sponsor. They weren't sure. They didn't tell us what they were thinking. They just said, hey, we want to get involved. So that was at the end of August, 1st of September. a month later, I'm following up. Hey, you said you guys were going to be involved. I just need to confirm because we got to get this going, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we're in. So we're going to we'll do some kind of award, like sponsorship is what they said. And I'm like, okay, great. Awesome. That'll be wonderful. And then another 15 days later, I'm like, hey, I need to get some details. I'm like, this would be awesome. I got to announce something because if you're going to be a sponsor, I want to at least give you
Front
guys some.
and center,
I want to give you some bandwidth. But of course, I have zero idea about the dollar amount or what it is. All I know is that an award. I'm like, okay, that'll be great because we have that as one
Even
of our
just
things.
their name on an award's cool.
Yeah. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
The branding association and co-branding is amazing. And so then. Like they said, hey, send me a contract so we can, fill it out. And I'm like, okay, that would be great. I want to put a little announcement out. So here's our logos, put them out. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, I'm still waiting for the description of the award. And I'm like, and our submissions close at the end of October. So October 31st is the end. Well, this year, because Halloween fell on a Thursday, I said, you know what? People that have kids, that have families, they're going to be busy. They're not going to have time. So I did this crazy promotional idea of, let me do, what was it? Day of the deadline.
Yeah.
Promotion for the weekend. So that would have been the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Mm-hmm. Well, on the 31st, that was their deadline to get back to me on information. And I'm like, oh, God, no information yet.
Yeah, and at that point, you kind of feel, you're like, do I call them again? Do I keep calling them?
And I said, I'm like,
no shit.
I know they're, they are doing their thing. I said, you know what? If they're going to get back to me, they'll get back to me. I'm not worried. We've already committed. They have my paper, whatever. So then on November 1, I get the email from them and they said, hey, I just saw this because I'd sent them a draft press release. They're like, did this get out? I'm like, no, because we're waiting on the description. And they're like, oh, we'll get that right back to you. So then they send an email, and the hysterical thing is I was doing voiceover recording for somebody for another thing that I'm doing. And so I'm there and, I see this email and it's like, okay, they're going to get back with information. Because the first one they sent didn't have any updated information. So, I'm like, okay, this is not going to do me any good. And then, so then they turn around and they send it back. But then I've left the location. I'm driving. So I'm on the road. And I'm like, I see it. And I'm like, oh, thank you. Did not read it, right? Because I'm just like,
You mean with the figure?
Yeah, he has so much.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm driving. I get home and I'm like, okay, let me read the email finally. And I wear glasses and I forgot them today. So this is even more funny, but I didn't put them on right away. So I'm like reading it and I said, 60 cameras. I'm like, okay, I guess we can do something with 60 cameras. That was what I first read. Then I'm like, you know what? Let me go put my glasses on. I go put my glasses on and I'm like, okay, I think
I need to take these off.
I think the comma is in the wrong space. And I'm like, 6,000? Do they mean 6,000? Because I'm like, that's reasonable. I get that. And then I'm like, no, I have to call him. So then what do? I immediately call my contact and it rings once, rings the second time. She's like, hello, Eva. I'm like, shit. I'm programmed into her phone. I'm like, she knows who this is. And I go, hey. And, you have to be cool. You have to be, like, mature.
Yeah. No, yeah.
You can't be losing your mind. And so I'm like, hey, I want to make sure I put out accurate information. So I just wanted to verify. And she's like, no, it is 60,000. I'm like, oh my God.
Did you
like,
start?
of course. Inside, you're like, yeah.
So, yeah.
But you're like, okay, cool.
So I'm like, I said, perfect. I just wanted to make sure I had the right information so I could get this out. And I said, thank you so much for, believing in our festival and all this. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. So so that happened. And then they dated the press release. Even more funny was that they dated it for the day after the submissions were over. So we did not get trampled with people coming in.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think is really smart on their part because guess what? Everybody that was in, that meant they were really serious about it.
They're really serious. Yes. That's a great point.
Yeah,
that is a very good point.
And so for me, that was a big thing. And through this whole process, one of the key things they said is, we've been watching you for the last 2 years. They'd been watching us.
Oh, shit.
So that says a lot. And for them, like this whole article that was written here which was not by Panavision, was by YM Cinema Magazine. I have to give them a shout out.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the day after we did the press release, they had this huge, like 10-page article posted. They had been doing research, so they had information from the CEO, which is a woman, Kim Snyder, from Panavision, and then Mike Carter, who's the executive, is presenting. But they talk about giving opportunities and changing the perspective on things, not only for women, but just the film industry in general. And how do they make things more accessible? And how does it work when you're trying to support and promote like different groups in film? And so to me, that's the biggest thing, is that for them to see us as a great vehicle to join and partner, which is exactly what they say, is that, you know, they're partnering with us to make a statement for women in film by doing this. And so like for us, it's a dream. At first I thought that was like, this is the biggest career highlight I have. And this is not even my IT work. This is my film life here.
Well,
and
one of the things that you brought up when you talked about, going out there and using that energy and getting involved is, we talk about it a lot, that we feel like they should teach a networking class to high school kids.
Yes.
Networking is so important, and that
especially nowadays, because they don't really socialize as much anymore.
Exactly. You bring
they
up
don't
a
even
good
leave the
point.
house. Like,
So you have to be able to go out there and get involved in the groups and the communities that you want to be a part of.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just another email, a faceless email.
Yeah, when I started in the industry, I launched my company in 2010, and I'll always remember one of the bits of advice that I got from somebody that was in the industry, and I heard it more than once. There was one time, this first story is actually about an interview that I had. I was interviewing, and I was going through the different experience that I had and things like that, and basically the manager that was interviewing me, he said, there's a lot of people that, he said, they're on the bus, and they're like sitting next to somebody that's on the bus doing something, but they're not really doing anything. He said, it's when you're driving the bus and you're actually taking people places. He said, that's when you know you're doing something. And that was part of what he was telling me about my experience. He knew I was driving, and that was such a great thing to take with me and all the things that I've done. So then when I got into this industry, they said, well, you can go to events and you can be like at events, but if you're just showing up to a few and you're not present in the industry, which means you're doing something, you're talking to people, he said, you're not really in the industry. So you can't say you're in it unless you're present. And to me, that was one of, I think, the best pieces of advice that I ever got.
Yeah, that's very important. Very important.
Yeah.
And so I always tell people, business is not easy. Getting into business as an entrepreneur, and especially even in the creative arts, it's not easy, because we have to do like 10 times more work, because it's not only the work that we do, but it's the stories that we have to tell. And the only way you can tell stories is if you have people that are listening to them, and you have to have people that want to listen to you, which means you can't just be a flaky, crazy person. You actually have to be somebody that has something meaningful that you can either help somebody with or share with them or help them get involved with. And so that's really what we've done, is that we've tried to make ourselves present wherever we can. I mean, going to networking events, even just for the sake of networking, I don't really do networking anymore. What I call it is, I go so I can actually support other people. I don't go to promote myself. What I do is I go to support other people, and then if we have something in common, great. And if not, then I've met somebody new that I can actually support in the industry. And then eventually we'll start working together. And that's how a lot of our relationships have started. I mean, why don't you talk about like some of the stuff that you've been working on over the last year with some of the groups that you've been part of?
Well, I've been talking with, different groups in town, like Alice Cooper. He has The Rock. And I've been, going to their meetings and things like that. And we're working on maybe in the future, like maybe doing something together at the film festival, helping, to promote us and them and getting the kids involved in some way. We're just not there quite yet, but, things like that, that's important.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Bringing up
because he has a whole thing where he gets kids into music and playing bands and instruments and things. That's real big here, I know. Oh,
yeah, it's huge. And getting, bringing up the younger kids and helping them to get to know people and not, feel so alone.
Well, they've also lost a lot of their abilities to have those creative things in school, the music programs, the acting programs, the arts programs.
Yeah.
So they need a place that they can do that. And, if they can't do it in school, that's a big, big hit.
Yeah,
it is.
And that's where, like, we haven't evolved yet to being able to do like youth programs, but what we have done is sponsored certain things. So like last year, Made in Her Image, we had a whole film block that was just dedicated to youth films that were from that age group. And they did actually a huge workshop last year, or
2 years ago, I think.
Was
now
it 2 years ago? I think it was in 2018. No.
17, I think.
Oh, no, I don't know. Anyway, we're losing our years.
It doesn't
now.
matter.
It's like back in the day when we started this.
Well, wait, just really quick. This is the third?
This is our third year.
Okay,
yes.
okay.
Yeah, it's our third year. And but anyway, so that was a great way. I met them at a workshop. I actually went and did like their red carpet. And so these girls, I mean, it was like from like not kindergarten, but really young to like high school. They did these crazy films. All of the girls loved editing. I said, "You guys are my heroes."
Some of the best editors are female. Like Quentin Tarantino's editor forever was female until she died.
And so
Martin Scorsese's,
yep.
Yeah, and so for me, just to hear these kids that they don't know anything else, but they knew film, and that they got to learn all of these different aspects, actually put their own
what do
films
they
together.
shoot on? Are they, like our phones?
I think actually
like cameras and stuff? That's awesome.
So they had a group with Made in Her Image. She's got sponsors that are helping
with
with that.
They give them real
yes, and she has blown up over the last year. She's just winning. Shanice Malachi is the founder of Made in Her Image, and she's won like so many awards already just with the work that she's been doing. She's getting an award by South by Southwest. They're awarding her in her industry for what she's been doing. Apple, Paramount, all of them have stepped up to support some of the programs. So she's living in LA right now because she's had so much activity going on, and she's a filmmaker as well. So she's doing amazing things in the industry, and that's the kind of people that we want to support. And she's a huge supporter of us. So, but we saw with the youth what she was doing. It's like, no, here, you got to showcase your kids because this is what we want to do. Is we want to help uplift and encourage that continued growth. What better way to put their films on a big screen?
That's all. I was just talking about that the other day. I wish I had some type of creative outlet from like when I was up until 8th grade. I was sports. And then when I found music and stuff, I almost feel like I kind of disappointed my parents in a sense, you know what I mean? Because, and then I don't know. But now that there's these programs and stuff for Alice Cooper doing that, and I didn't think of it for filmmakers because these kids are creative. I mean, they're on YouTube making all kinds of.
Yeah, I like to say they like to come out the box already knowing how to put videos on YouTube.
Yeah, no, it's very true.
That's very.
Oh, you keep going.
Okay.
I'll just make sure we're still going. I gotta like if you ever see me spacing, I'm actually checking the sound in the camera.
No.
Like,
that's okay.
No, I do a podcast too, so I do 15-minute intervals. I have an alarm that goes off, so make sure stop at 15. Make sure the camera's still rolling and sounds good. Okay, then we come back. Hey, we're back. You got to do it.
That's because a good idea.
Seriously, I do podcasting
well,
too.
I know
so
you have a podcast called
Ask a Filmmaker.
Ask a Filmmaker.
Yeah.
That's a great name for a podcast.
Oh, let me just tell you how good that is. And that's the awesome thing is like, so with a lot of the stuff that I do with my company, I get to support what's happening with the film festival. And this year, Just Be Love and Ask a Filmmaker is sponsoring one of the film blocks. So we're actually going to share a little bit about marketing and promotions for filmmakers, how that's important. And then we're going to do a hot seat for the filmmakers and do a podcast there and do some live streaming with that. Just because every filmmaker needs an opportunity to talk about their films.
Yes. I believe that.
And
totally.
And we provide the platform to show your films. And now with this added thing, we're going to be able to do the podcast to promote the films and to give them a chance to answer, a hot seat question. So I'm super excited about that because I love just encouraging and edifying and uplifting people. So it's just kind of a natural fit for me. But I'm like, I have a captive audience of 85 films that are going to be there.
Yeah.
I'm like, I think this is going to work. Ask a filmmaker. So
Do you already have the questions? The hot seat questions?
oh no, I'm really good at just asking crazy questions on the fly, so that's not a problem. And I know the films really well. But the funny thing is, I went to American Film Market, and even American Film Market. When I posted about Ask a Filmmaker being there and kind of doing our little promo there, they were like so excited. I was like, oh my God, this is so amazing. Even American Film Market. Hey, that's awesome. Well, because I think that's one of those things is that people, they know they need to do marketing and promotions, but it's not something that's usually a natural thing for a filmmaker to do.
Well, we talked about that last week about how there's all these creative people, but they're not necessarily business savvy. But when you find someone who's creative and business savvy, that's a pretty unstoppable person,
Yeah, and for me, it's like I said, I see great creatives out there doing stuff, and that's why I like to promote. I mean, I was just at the Chandler International Film Festival.
How was that?
Oh, it was amazing. It was really, really great. I consider it the warm up to our festival, and we're the and I'm gonna say
I like that.
And I'm gonna say this also. The Oscars happens to be.
I was just gonna bring that up.
Our same weekend, and so we're the kickoff to the Oscars.
Oh,
yeah, I'm
perfect timing.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, we're gonna have our awards in advance, and Kim has some statistics I think she should read about the film festival if you want to share.
I can.
I love statistics.
I can. What would you like to know? Just statistic wise.
I would say something that might be related to the Oscars, but not.
Okay, all right.
Well, I was going to bring that up.
How about the fun facts that I'd love to share?
Well,
our first.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll let you do that.
Okay, our first filmmaker, first year was 12 years old.
Wow.
No, yeah, she was 12 years old. Yeah, 12 years old.
Yeah, 12 years old when she did the film, and 16 when it started screening.
Yes.
Yeah.
Damn.
And last year, our first screenwriter was 14 years old when she wrote it, but she didn't get to see it on the big screen till she was 16.
Yep. And that one was our opening night film, too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Like we were talking about, the young kids are so good with technology and these days. And
Oh, yeah.
like you said, you had somebody that was young that said that they enjoyed editing.
Uh-huh.
That's a perfect example of how important the technology is to the young kids. these
Well, and the
days.
thing is, they're not afraid of it.
Yeah.
That's even the better
Yes,
thing.
you're
It's like,
right.
because it used to be, and this, I say the statistic for women is that even in IT today, you still do not have a lot of women in IT because they're still being told in high school that you shouldn't be in those type of jobs. And I'm like, I don't have any understanding of how that can even be possible. This is why the STEM program exists now, right? Because they're trying to get women in technology. But for me, it's like, if you tell them that they can't do it, then that's what they're going to think.
Yeah.
So don't tell them that they can't do it. But that still happens.
Yeah, it
Oh,
does.
yeah.
And
Big
that's
time.
sad.
Yeah. So, I mean.
Well, a perfect example of that is, I mean, we're talking about the Oscars. There's a big hubbub about the Oscars right now, right? They just got done. I think all the best directors were all men.
Yes.
And that this is after the last couple of years of them catching so much shit.
Right.
And now they're, I mean, kind of, what are you guys' thoughts on that?
I'll let her speak and then I'll speak.
It's not good. That's the nicest way I can say it. Women, there's amazing women directors, editors, the whole kit and caboodle out there. And it's unfortunately still a good old boy network.
Is it the people? It gets voted on, right? Because it's
Yeah,
mostly men that vote, probably.
Well, also, it's the whole, if I'm not mistaken, it's the whole industry.
Well, there might not be enough women filmmakers out there to
vote.
To vote, not only to vote, but if you have a sea of filmmakers and 10% of them are women, how many of them of those 10% are going to be that good of a picture? You know what I mean? So I'm not saying that they can't create good pictures, but if you've got 90 out of 100, if you've got 10 women making films, how many of those 10% are going to be good?
Well, and the other thing that goes along with that, you're right, is that it all depends on the quality. I mean, right?
Yeah.
That says a lot. Is what are the stories that are being told by women? Are they really the stories that are going to capture those type of audiences
True.
and those type of people that vote? And that's one of the things that I will say as a filmmaker. I don't like to do the girl meets boy and then let's go like the girl chick flicks, I guess, if you want to say.
Yes.
I hate to say it, I'm a woman, but I'm all about like, let's get into murder and mayhem.
Hell yeah.
Let's destroy some things. Let's
Well, why does it doesn't always have to be that way?
No.
You're just painting yourself into a picture.
Exactly. And I think there's a lot of, and this is even for me, my message to filmmakers for this next year, and especially women, is like, don't do stereotypical things. Use this opportunity to be creative. And now there are a lot of women that need to tell their story, but I think that story, if it's about, let's say, a personal scenario or whatever, I don't know that you would call that necessarily theater viewing worthy, right? Because there's a lot of violence, there's a lot of abuse, and there's a lot of those type of stories that are out there that women, they're telling it first because it is their story and it's very personal. And they're putting it out there because they need to share it and let other people know. However, when you think about what we are in, we're in an entertainment industry. Mm-hmm. So I think along the lines of what is going to entertain me, right?
Exactly.
Some of the stories are more appropriate to me in what I would consider self-help, guidance. They're educating people for how to take care of themselves in their lives. And then you have entertainment. And for me, entertainment is about the stories that take you away.
That's it. That takes you away.
That takes you away. That's the imagination, or it's a slightly different universe than what you are normally used to. And for me, having those type of creative ideas and getting that out there, that's what I consider entertaining. So there's, again, I know there's attempts at this, and there's a lot of, let's say, the reboots, the sequels that are happening with certain systems, and even with small ones where it's like the first, second, or third. But okay, that's good. But can we not have new stories?
Tiring. Yeah,
Thank
it's very
you.
tiring.
Thank you.
I want new stories, and that's part of what we
I think
have in our film
I don't
festival.
think of that with just women. I think that as in general, with
general.
film
In
anyway.
general.
Yeah,
In
there's
general.
just no creativity
Right.
in filmmaking right now, and it's
and
all like
there's
you just said, reboots and remakes.
And also, supposedly the film industry is losing money. Yeah, right. So
they're getting ready to redo Bambi. I mean,
I know,
how could
and
they
thank
not?
you.
How could they not be making money?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're afraid for new stories, so they just keep rebooting it because it's guaranteed money makers. And going back to, women and men directors, they're very leery to give women directors a huge budget because if it's someone they don't know, they're really scared. Now, good case in point is Jodie Foster, very well known in the industry. When she directed Little Man Tate, you'd think that she'd get $1 million budget. Oh no, they gave her a very, very small budget because they weren't sure she could do it or handle it. And I think, and that's sad because they don't give women these multi-million-dollar budgets is because they don't think they can handle it or they don't know them. But, they'll give a guy who they don't even know, a $20 million budget going, here, have fun.
Huh?
To me, that infuriates me.
Well, then let's talk about some of the women that are filmmakers right now that are getting some of the big budgets that are just blowing it out of the water.
Isn't there a Marvel one?
Yeah, Wonder Woman, Patty.
Patty
Jenkins.
That's
she had been making movies for a long time. She has been making movies for a long time, but she was just did an amazing job with Wonder Woman. In my opinion, Wonder Woman was the best DC property film that has been made other than the Dark Knight films. But I mean, you don't usually see that in that world. So Patty Jenkins is one. Who are some other filmmakers that are women filmmakers that are just doing a good job?
I forgot her name, but one of my favorite movies is American Psycho. That was.
I was just about to say that.
I love that.
Amazing.
She did Lion King too, right? The theatrical version of Lion King.
I think so.
Yeah. She's another one.
Catherine Hardwicke, who's done the Twilight series.
Okay.
And then did Miss Bala.
Who did Lords of Dogtown? Or not Lords of Dogtown.
Yeah. Catherine
Hardwicke.
Yeah. That was her first movie that
she did Twilight?
Yeah. She
I didn't know that.
Yeah, directed the Twilight series.
She did a bunch of badass movies.
Oh, yeah.
We need to talk about Kevin, which is by, let me think.
Oh, yeah, that movie is awesome.
Lynn Ramsey. And I mean, that is like an incredibly
it's a creepy,
crazy good movie, but just that idea behind that and what she was able to create is just that's probably one of my all-time favorite films now. And so so she's like another really great one. And there's just so many. I think Eva DuVernay.
I was an extra.
Right,
I was an extra in a film starring Sienna Miller and the dude from Rogue One, and it's directed by an up and coming female director. I wish I knew her name.
Yeah,
but she's
I know.
cool. Amazing.
And like she had mentioned, Catherine Hardwicke. We actually saw her speak.
She lives out here, doesn't she?
Down in Tucson.
Oh no, that's the writer of Twilight.
The writer. Yeah, but she spoke in Tucson, so it was and so the thing is, there's a lot of I think those type of organizations. So like that one was Arizona, that was the Tucson
Film Festival.
That was actually supporting bringing them in. And then there's a lot of other organizations. So like Women in Media is another freaking phenomenal group that I will say that is not just about women. It's got everybody involved with it. When I first met them, it was back in, I think, 2017, and they were just kind of really getting things more formalized. They had been around for a while, but over the last 2 years, they have like exponentiated their growth in what they're doing. And their panels, they bring in like 6 or 7, like sound person, writer, director. Like I saw the writer for Jurassic Park. She was at that one. And these are all women. I saw the sound engineer for Straight Outta Compton. That's a woman. She's 30 years in the business doing sound. And she started off like kind of as a secretary, like a office assistant. Wow. And jumped into it. Our opening night film, which is Be Natural, The Untold Story of Elise Guy Blaché, is that is a documentary done by Pamela Green, who is one of the co-creative directors for Jason Bourne.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Right? And so she did that documentary.
That's a perfect thing that we need to hear more about, are these people that are in those positions that we don't know, we wouldn't think of, to say, hey, there's all kinds of women that just aren't directing or just aren't writing.
And they're totally capable.
Yes. Beyond capable.
Yeah, beyond capable.
Yeah.
It was funny, and this is going to sound terrible again because I can't remember her name, but I'm a big movie fan from like movies from the 30s and 20s and 40s.
Okay.
And one of the biggest editors was a woman editor at the time.
Wow.
And she, I can't remember, but they did a documentary on her, and it just blew me away. Even back then, that she was, what do they call that? Breaking the
fourth wall.
Like the glass ceiling.
Oh,
okay. The glass ceiling. Yeah.
Right, but you never hear about her.
Well, and you bring up that whole thing about the glass ceiling, and here's what my take is on where we should be going now. Is that there's the glass ceiling, but that's not our glass ceiling. That's what somebody else has made. Why can't we, and this includes the whole community and industry of what we're doing, why can't we just do things different? Why do we have to? We don't have to do it like everybody else. Everybody always wants to fall into a system, a program, a plan. But I'm like, everything that Kim and I do, and literally everything I do, nobody else is doing, because I'm like, I want to be the first one to do it, so I'm doing it different. Same with like all the organizations that I mentioned. They're all doing things different. So what they're doing is they're not letting the system hold them back. They're doing things differently than the system and creating their own systems, which is what you're hearing a lot more now.
Be your own boss.
Be your own boss. And then don't wait for them to come to you with a change. You be the change. Right? That's what it's about, is, to me, standing up for what you can do, actually showing up to the party that you're creating, and you do it. You don't have to wait for everybody to come to you or to give you the money or to do all of that.
Well, it's not going to happen if you just wait.
Yeah,
exactly. That's an excuse.
It is, but you hear that a lot, and people want to do that, and even in the media helps to beef that up too, in my opinion. And
true.
And that's why, again, what we have to do is different. What we're putting out there is different. And we're talking about it. Instead of, again, waiting for somebody else to tell us, we're out there telling the story and giving this platform to these amazing filmmakers. I mean, we have this one, it's called Pioneer in Skirts.
Yep.
It's a documentary, and she's talking specifically about women in film. And there's one statement that's made by a director that he actually hired the first woman director in the U.S. to do, like, work on Carol Burnett's show. And so this is from back in the, whenever that came out. And his statement was that he realized that when a woman walked into the room, he saw her like he saw her exactly how it was being described. He didn't see her as a filmmaker first. He saw her as a woman, and then the filmmaker came. He didn't see her just as a filmmaker. And he said, when he said that and realized that, he said, I'm changed because I have this realization.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think that's all it is. And it doesn't have to be all these things about, like, there's so much about the sexism and then the, you know, not equality. And again, I'm not a woman's libist, and I'm not about equality. What I am about is give me the opportunity if I show up.
Yes.
If I show up, I want to try and have that opportunity. If I don't get it because I'm not qualified, fine. I'm going to go learn, and then I'm going to come back and try again. And there's a lot of people that give up. And to me, that's the whole thing, is these stories about people that haven't given up and that they've actually came to produce and get something completed, right? A lot of people will start, and then they're not really committed to it. Yeah. So for us, I think it's showing up, it's being committed, it's doing things different, not waiting for people to do it for you. And then don't be dependent on a system. Don't have codependency.
You made your own system.
Make it yourself. And that's exactly why we did what we did. So
Yep. Search out those systems that you can, if you can't make it yourself, search out the systems that you want, because they're out there.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
And there are a lot of people doing great things. That's why, like I said, you know, knowing who are the people that are doing things, then building those relationships. And what I'm finding is that there's a lot of, you can be independent, but then you can be collaborative. And I love that ability of both, because I don't like to be underneath, I don't like to be underneath the system. I'm just going to say this now.
Yeah.
I please don't cage me, because I will break it down. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah. So I'm one of those that don't box me. Don't put me in a corner. Baby, don't. I'll cry. Don't do it. I'm not going to do it.
Don't put Eva in a corner.
No, it's not going to happen. But that's the whole thing, is that you want to have that opportunity to be creative. And, you know, there's a lot of people that, hey, and this is also something my dad told me. He said, you always have to have all different types of people in a system. So this is why not everybody's going to be that leader. That's why not everybody's going to be the one that just follows. You have to have a combination of people. So I feel like that's the type of systems that should be created now, or the avenues that should be created, where you have a place for everybody, no matter what level they're at, because technically you can use everybody. And there's so much stuff that people can do. I mean, I'm delving into not only the podcast, but into video productions and into solutions for people when you're talking about filmmaking and things like that. So it goes beyond, it's like commercials, you know, companies that you can go and promote, educational things that you can do. Yeah. There's so many ways that you can come up to use your talents and skills as a filmmaker. Like, it's limitless. Like, so
especially now with the technology being so easy at hand, anybody can make a film. All you need is a phone. I mean,
know.
It's amazing what you can do with just a telephone. The cameras in telephones are better than the cameras that were being made 10 years ago, you know?
Yeah. Exactly.
That you were paying thousands of dollars for.
Right. And that's why the idea now is, and again, I study every day, and I learn. Like, I'm always looking at what's happening in the industry, and I'm always listening to what other people are doing based on their experience. And that's the one thing that I learned recently, is that you're not doing like what we're doing here. This is a production, but you're providing a solution, because you're finding a way to get out information that other people wouldn't normally have access to, right?
Well, I think it's unbelievable that you could just do that from your house now.
Yeah.
And
it is.
out,
yeah,
you know?
exactly.
So, like, why not take advantage of that?
Exactly. You know? And I mean, and find your way. I mean, for me, the whole thing is, people like to say, I only want to do this one thing. I'm not a jack of all trades, but I do a lot of things. Why? I like the opportunity to try new things and to learn. So I always tell people, just go out there and do it. Fail fast. That's one of my favorite sayings. Fail fast. Yeah. Fail fast, and you'll learn so much.
Yep. You'll learn the most out of the mistakes that you made than you will your things that you did good.
It's very important in my life now, is failure, because I was very afraid of it as a kid growing up and stuff, and I wish I would have learned that at such a younger age. It's just so important, you know.
It is. Well, could you imagine? I couldn't imagine not only having to deal with that failure as a young kid, but then also being female and dealing with that in an industry where you're dominated by non-females, right?
Yeah, no. And I mean, I come from an IT background, and believe me, everywhere I worked, I mean, I've always been the one female or the technical expert that's over, like, nobody knows the same things that I do, because I'm in a very specialized area that's very expansive, but I can see it all and I can talk to it. And there aren't very many people like me that exist, but it's always been very, very male dominated, no matter what company or wherever I've worked. But I've paved my way to be a subject matter expert and a specialist. Well, that's because I chose that. I said nobody else is going to want to do what I do because it is so specialized. But I made my way. That was what I decided when I got into my career. And so pretty much with everything else I do, I've just applied that to everything. And I don't really see the male and female because I get treated a little bit differently in my industry because I am that subject matter expert. They saw me as an expert coming in, which is, I think, one of the bonuses that I've had along the way is that I've been able to see it from a different perspective. But I understand what people have to go through. I've been sexually harassed. I've had to deal with that. I dealt with that when I was really young, and it sucks because you can't really talk to anybody about it.
Yeah.
But what did I do? I didn't let that hold me back. I just became very cautious and wary of people that I was around. I learned.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, that can hold you back if you let it.
Yeah, people will take advantage of you.
Yes, they will.
Yes,
But
they
you have
will.
to let them take advantage of you in a lot of those situations.
Yeah, exactly.
I can imagine, excuse me, being an actress here in Phoenix, even just with all the creepy dudes. I can imagine all the things that actresses and things have to go through, and just people in the female workforce. Because I know dudes are creepy and they're fucked up, and you know what I mean. So
well, but and I look at it like that's why I said. I mean, I kind of look at it from both ways because I've seen both sides of it, and for me, that's the one thing I think as a woman, it's like people always want to, hey, the women have to deal with this. They're the ones that have, and it's like, no, men actually have to deal with that too. Yeah. It doesn't get talked about like at all. So this is the one thing that it really is. Everybody gets affected by this, but you hear it more by women because women tend to be more vocal and they will say that, but they didn't get their voice for a long time either, partly because they're waiting on people to give them that opportunity. And I think, again, to me, it's always everybody has a voice. You just have to say it, and you have to find other people that will accept that. So
True.
Well, let's get into some of the films that you guys have over the years that have been that have been entered into your guys' event, and what are some of the ones?
some of the winners.
Yeah, some of the winners and some of the people that just blew you away. Some of the films that just blew you away.
Oh wow. Okay. So.
Oi.
I know, right?
Oi. Wow. For me, I've liked the web series. Some of them are just so funny, and they're very different. One of them from New Mexico is the Diva Deluge Posse. Really, her name is Diva Deluxe, but no, this woman thinks she's grandeur and she's kind of over the hill. But, I'm Diva Deluge, and she's become an inventor now. And just seeing, and her posse, and they just like put up with this woman. And then in the end, she gets left behind, and the posse's like, hey, yeah. And for me, that's just fun because it's a very episodic, and it's just so
not just
funny.
films. You guys showed all different kinds of.
Yeah, we have we have short films, feature films, documentaries, web series, music videos.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I know it goes from the 7th to the 9th. So is it like, what's the schedule like? Is it just consistently just showing?
Yeah, it is.
It's just Friday night we have our opener film, which is The Untold Story, and then we're doing the horror shorts after that.
Right.
And then that's just one theater. And then Saturday, we've got 2 theaters showing films nonstop.
Yeah, from 9 until almost
midnight.
Yeah.
Like around 11 o'clock, something like that.
And then Sunday, we have 6 hours. So it's 30 hours of programming that we have, and we're showing 85 films.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this is at Harkins in Scottsdale, right?
Yeah, Shea 14 Theaters at Shea and Scottsdale Road. Yeah. And that's our 3rd year there, so that's been our home. They've been a fabulous host.
Amazing.
Yeah, just think what 30 hours of screen time at a theater, what the type of money they're bringing in to give you the ability to show movies there during these times on a weekend.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, it's like peak hour, too. Yeah. Peak hours for them.
Yeah, but that's one of the things. They're really supportive. They have like a customer experience manager that's part of their system that helps to facilitate those. And I mean, Harkins, I think here locally they understand the need to have this opportunity for independent film. And it's great because they do offer a lot of different opportunities, even beyond the film festival, to screen. But especially with festivals, they recognize how important it is to provide that platform. And I think if there hadn't been festivals prior to us, I can't imagine breaking the door down to get into that. So we're grateful for all the other festivals that were before us and the ones that are still coming, because festivals are just popping up everywhere now.
Yeah.
But this is what I find is like a festival is set up for, it's got a unique mission and purpose behind why it's doing.
Yes.
And basically there's a festival for you. That's how I look at it. And our festival is about being inclusive. We make it a community experience. And I know you were talking about like some of the favorite films. I'm like, I've seen like so many films. I was like, oh my God, how can I remember?
I put you on the spot.
I remember the films for this year. So let's talk about
let's talk about this year. Seriously, let's talk about some of those.
So we have this big feature film that's coming out of Texas. It's called No Ordinary Love. And this one is about, again, it's abusive relationships, but their take on it is really, really great. And one of the things, I'm not going to give away everything, but like one of the lead characters, I hate him.
That's how you know a good actor, when you feel those feelings.
I was like, I want to kill him myself. I was like, oh my God, he played this so well that I hate him. And
I know,
like,
it's crazy when that happens.
But
he's probably like the nicest guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He probably is. But I'm like, really? I don't want to see you anywhere near the theater. Let's just don't show up, okay? And so that's great. But the nice thing about that one is they've gotten some press that they've put out there on their own, and they have a domestic violence group, I think, that's going to be coming to the festival for that, which is like really amazing. Yeah. And then one of the other ones we have, of course we have the Be Natural, but like I mentioned, Pioneer and Skirts coming out of LA, which is really amazing for them to actually have representation. And they're young filmmakers, so they're not, it's not like they've been in the business for a long time, but they talk to people that have been, and their story is great. And then we have a Created Life, which is another one done by Corrine Smith. That's a documentary about kind of her journey through things that she went through when she was younger, and abuses as well, but how she's transformed and how you can do that with the help of these people. And I think there's those type of amazing stories that are happening. But then we also have, I'm a big fan of experimental films, like crazy experimental and animation. And we have some great stuff in animation, and then the experimental side of the house. What people are able to do with the experimental vision, like my first film is experimental, and I freaking love my film.
You should.
Can you watch it?
Yeah,
is it on YouTube or anything?
I have my channel.
Let's hear it. What is it?
Yeah, it's called Ever Present, and actually Kim was on. She was on my set, and part of my production team. But yeah, that was my first experimental film. I did it as a film challenge for the Jerome Film Festival back in 2018. And so I just launched. I have actually 3 of my films that I've produced and put together on Chronic Behavior Productions is the YouTube channel. And so Ever Present's out there, my experimental.
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
It's only 3 minutes
and stuff. And
I do. I have on Amazon, the latest release that I have is called Last Responders: Life After Death.
Oh yeah.
And I play Jolene, and she's a nosy bitch.
Nice.
And I love it.
That was probably fun.
Yeah, the director called me a scene stealer.
Oh yeah.
That's a good compliment,
I'm just gonna. Yes, will use that for the rest of my life.
Do you remember what set I met you on first?
Oops, sorry.
No. What set?
It was actually one of the very first sets I ever. It was probably the second set I was ever on, which was Genesis. But you were dressed up thug as fuck. I actually thought you were a gangster like that. So you were a good actor.
I was at Chola. Yes, and that one's also on Amazon. Genesis. Genesis: Fall of a Crime Empire. I have that DVD. That one. Why I love that one is because I had a gun to my head. Yeah, that one was good. It was great. I didn't have a lot of lines because there's a gun to my head.
Yeah.
I think I had like a nod. I was like a bodyguard. I went like,
Yeah. So yeah, I had yeah. So yeah, I was being. The reason why the gun was to my head was because I thought I was a snitch, and I was, but I wasn't. In the in that scene, I was like, ah. Yeah, it was like crazy. No, actually, the FBI. I don't know if it was the detectives.
So it brings you back.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll do that, but it was funny because we were in a warehouse when they filmed that, and so we're like back on one of the hallways. They come in with the guns, and then I actually literally have to get down on the ground after I get released. I couldn't even leave because they were like getting the other guy who was he was a drug lord, and he was
so you're face down on the ground.
So I'm face
for
down
4
on the
hours.
ground. I'm like, shit, this is like crazy.
Yeah, for 8 hours. Yeah.
So that was such a great experience because there's no way you can't have adrenaline when you have that stuff going on, and it's not real. I mean, but even as an actor, it's like, shit, this is like, it's crazy because like you're being choked, like, but it's film choking, so it's like. But it's still really intense, and you have to have that intensity. So that's like been another fun role that I had. I have a couple others that they're not. I don't think they're online. One where it's called Through the Meadows. I was a teacher, and that one was a lot of fun because I played with a lot of kid actors, and I was their teacher. And the kids were just.
I was gonna ask,
no kids or pets. No, I'm just kidding. Or animals. I mean, don't work with kids or animals. They say, right?
So, and that one was a really good one. And then also in Dark Dignity.
Yeah, we had a lot of kids.
That's the one that we met on.
Yeah.
And I was one of the producers with Cassandra Nicholson. That's her film. And that's a short sci-fi film. But it's like a long short because it's like 23 minutes. And that one we had an ensemble cast of the 7
Are you an actress too? Or?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
She's an
that's
actress
awesome.
as well.
See, that's what when I asked you earlier about my question about starting the festival, I was actually wondering your love for filmmaking and where that came from. I didn't know you were an actress.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I've acted, I've produced.
She does stage stuff too.
Yeah, stage stuff. You know, whatever I can get my little face in, I do it.
No, yeah, she does.
Yeah,
like
and also, I love film. Like, my idols are like Betty Davis, Joan Crawford, Barbara Stanwyck, Clark Gable. Because I grew up, my mom she'd take us to movies, and then I remember on Sunday afternoons sitting there watching black and white films.
That's all this guy watches.
Yeah.
That is all I watch.
All he watches is, was it TMC?
Turner Classic Movies.
Yeah, I love those, too. Yeah. Westerns, old stuff like that.
Yeah, that's where my love came. And then I started to study acting, and I was in motion when it was at SCC, when I first started at the motion picture department. I got a degree in that. So yeah.
What was I gonna say?
I found out over the years that Turner Classic Movies is an amazing channel.
Yes.
But YouTube has so many amazing old movies on it that you would never hear of
for free.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. For free. Yeah, for free.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. And Turner Classic, I just saw yesterday that they've got what is it called? Cult Classics or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like 2:00 in the morning. They show all these B movies and all these cult classics that
awesome.
you'll never get to see. I mean, how cool is that?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because we're talking about women in film, and a lot of people don't realize this, but Ida Lupino.
Yes.
One of the very first female film directors, and she did it back in the 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
I read a biography on her, and it was so fascinating. She was called the thinking man's Betty Davis.
Yes.
And when she got into it, I mean, she really, like the day before a shoot, she really prepared and really had everything nailed down because she did not want to go onto the set looking like an idiot.
Yeah.
And then when she had a problem and she couldn't figure out, she goes, "Okay, boys, Mama needs some help. Let's get it done." No, that's what she would say, and all the guys would, come to, they'd help her, and she was very innovative, and she came up with some different filming techniques and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, she kind of got quieted over the years. I don't know if quieted is a word, but she kind of got pushed down, the barrel.
Right.
And not a lot of people know what a great director she was.
Yeah.
Because she started out as like a siren, like a 1930s siren act, the pre-code horror stuff.
Yeah.
And
What do you mean by siren?
You know, like the sexy female,
Oh, yeah.
you know, like bad girl type
Yeah.
thing. Joan Crawford, Betty Davis,
Yeah.
So they didn't really think of her as, you know, like you said, they called her the thinking man's Betty Davis, but she made these amazing films, and still to this day people don't know about it.
Yeah,
So.
and that's sad.
Yeah.
What do you guys? I know you guys have both been in here in the Phoenix scene for a while. What are you guys' thoughts on the film community here in Phoenix, and where? Because I've been involved for about 3 years now, I think, and I've seen a small evolution. But what are you guys' thoughts?
You're right. It is a very small community. I thought it was bigger, and then once I got more involved, I go, this is a very small place, very small, and it has evolved over the years, and I think it's gotten better with, you know, men being disrespectful towards women, like, and that. Thank God for social media.
Yes.
It's like, hey, this guy's a creep. Don't stay away from this guy.
Yeah.
It's
So
amazing
that's helped.
how fast that fixes things sometimes.
Yes.
Social media is amazing and terrible at the same time.
Exactly.
But and that same thing that is used to as good for many areas can also be something terrible with these false accusations.
Exactly.
But the most of the time, the false accusations are only from a couple people. When it's a lot of people that don't know each other that are stating something, then you got to have a little, you know, it's easy to separate the wheat from the chaff sometimes on that.
That's true. That's very true.
It's funny you say that about how small the community is when you see it, because that's what I thought. I thought that it was much bigger than it was. And it feels like it's being hampered. We talk about some of the states where that get tax credits and stuff like that, you know, like Atlanta or Georgia and California and I imagine New Mexico. And a lot of people say that's what's holding us back, is that we're not getting these tax credits so people can come do films. Do you guys think that if we did get those tax credits and more of these big studios come in, it would help grow the your kind of spotlight?
Well, I think one of the things that's said a lot of times is if we did get tax incentives, do we even have the production support
Exactly.
here
Thank
to
you.
actually do it? And and to me, that's a big thing, is like, there's a lot of commercial production that actually happens here in Arizona, more than people have any idea is going on.
Commercials,
And the thing is, actually, every state has production stuff happening, which people, again, don't realize, because it's what you see every day on TV. Well, how does that all get produced? It's usually local productions. It has nothing to do with big, you know, movies and things like that. I mean, your local television is produced here in Arizona every day. So that's one thing. So you've got the commercial production side, I think, and there's a lot of, I think, investments on that. When you talk now about more of the entertainment, the bigger type studio stuff, because of the unions and having the right production set up to support that, I think that's a big thing. We actually have to have more people in that business to make it more pliable for us to be able to get those type of incentives where we can actually support them. Because the thing is, you still have to, if you have tax incentives, you have to make sure however it's set up, you've got the people to support it.
I know,
That's
but
always
did
the number one
Georgia
thing.
already have that set up before they got them?
I think so. I think they had a lot of stuff happening because of the way Atlanta is and the way their systems have been as well. So a lot of their stuff, I think, comes more from Northeast down, right, to Atlanta. And I think the big thing is they have an environment and landscape too, like us, that can do a lot of different types of filming. That's why, if your environment, you know, enables you to have all of these different kind of sets and production, you know, quality type filming,
you
that's
would think,
a big thing.
Yeah, you would think that we'd be up there with some of the biggest states, California, because of how the weather here. We don't have any natural events, tornadoes, hurricanes, earthquakes. You would think that'd be more here, but you're exactly right. Even if it does come here, do we have the ability to support it?
Right. Yeah. And I think that's where, like, the people that are coming up and getting their degrees and then moving somewhere else, like, I can't fault them or judge them for that. That's what they have to do. If that's truly what they want to pursue, they've got to go where they can get the work. Now, if you're somebody that's coming at it for a different angle, like for me personally, like I come as a studio executive. That's like kind of my mindset on how I look at things. And like, I want to do broadcast network. I want to have a broadcast network where I produce quality content. That's like a system. That's like bringing everything full circle and doing it here. I also have talked to other people about, hey, I could do a studio in another state and then go back and forth, right? Because I know a place where I could get some land. But it's these ideas of how can you creatively do it where you actually have a flow of traffic of people coming here and going to other places, but you're going back and forth and helping each other. So one of our sponsors, which I didn't bring up earlier, is Dolphin Image Studios. They're out of Florida, Winter Haven, Florida. And they're actually one of our sponsors for the festival. How did that happen? I met them in California at American Film Market. But they went because they want to talk to people all over. Why? They're doing a specialized technology of augmented reality in their studio. They're like a subject matter expert in that field.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But they were willing to, hey, hear our story. They liked what we were doing. They said, we want to do this for the community and for schools and for education. So we want to do a film festival. What you're doing is great. So let's talk. That's how that all came about. Because they were open to an idea of innovation, of working with somebody else that's not in their state.
Skinny, you're putting yourself out there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even for them, they don't have tax incentives there yet. That's not what they have either. But they have this awesome studio that they, were able to come into, and they're like 2 years in. And but it's an old studio. But they're innovatively thinking. They're young filmmakers. They have the education, and now they just want to spread the wealth of knowledge on production. And then, again, they have that augmented reality, which is one of the newer technologies coming into the future. But, I talk about these type of relationships. I went to New Mexico. That's how I got that connection. I was in California at American Film Market, met so many amazing people that were from there, from all over. And for me, Arizona, I think the big thing is we're already a melting pot because usually people are from other places.
For sure.
True.
So it's that idea of, if we're a melting pot, why don't we take advantage of that? Why don't we reach out to other places and say, hey, let's work together and figure out how we can create a cycle, like one hand feeds the other hand to make it work. And then once we have those little systems working, then that's when the bigger systems can come in and say, hey, we want to help you facilitate this.
So what can we do more here? Specifically, what is something that we can do that will make that happen faster?
Well, to me, it's about awareness and creating those communities, the community collaborations to create that, which means, okay, like what we do is we get to promote other people, right? We have a system we can promote through our system. Well, why wouldn't you want to be on board with something like that? Because guess what? We're not promoting ourselves. We're promoting the other people. Yeah. So creating those type of systems, again, that's kind of why my company exists, because I work with others to help promote what they're doing. So I think we just need to have more systems like that where we can come together. This is why we got connected to what they were doing in Tucson with the AZ Film Expo. They did. Why? Because it's in Tucson, but they brought everybody from all over the state. The Mesa Film Festival is also somebody trying to bring people in from all over the state. Instead of being exclusive, be inclusive. So create that system and create that platform. Like we could do it from an Arizona perspective, but let's look at Southwest. We already have like all these states like Utah, California, New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado. We can all be working together.
Yeah, there's
like
enough
Las
money
Vegas.
Out there for us to all make money.
Yeah, exactly. And I know people in all those states that are doing film. So I mean, it's just creating the opportunities and not being afraid. I mean, everybody always says like, oh, if we give somebody else a job that's not from here, then we're losing. And it's like, no, you're expanding.
Yeah.
I look at the reach and the expansion, and that's kind of how we look at it. So
those people have to eat.
Yeah.
They rent cars. They stay at hotels. We may not be getting the money from that, but the state is getting it, so that's a positive thing.
Yeah. Building relationships, I think, with people that are open to partnering.
Yes, that's right there.
I think that's a big thing is just being open to that. I mean, there's a lot of me, right? And I think you can be me as long as you're taking care of yourself with that. But then you still have to look at, if I do that, how can I help somebody else? Because I can't do anything I'm doing by myself. Yeah. We can't do this festival by ourselves.
No.
So we can't make a film by yourself. I mean,
No.
you could do a one-man thing, but nobody cares.
It's a very collaborative process.
I mean, I'm just saying
Yeah.
it's like way better when you work with a team of
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
And I think if we can do that and then create the platform to be able to do that, that's why literally this is why now I have the Ask a Filmmaker, because I'm not going to be just talking to filmmakers here. They're going to be all over.
Yeah.
And it's to create that awareness, right? Everything kind of I do. I have Film and Fashion Futures, which has always been about like transformational awareness and what people go through, you know, as they're evolving. I think in the same industry, this applies.
Plus, it's also nice to create a community, not just
Yeah.
be part of one.
Yeah.
Help create it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It'll save you a lot of headaches when you create those communities or you're part of those communities.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Where can people find your podcast?
It's right now on YouTube, and I have it on Instagram. So it's just Ask a Filmmaker now on Instagram, and then Ask a Filmmaker podcast on Facebook, and then YouTube. And I will have a website. I'm still evolving on the website how I want to do it, because for hosting and stuff like that, I'll probably be moving to downloads. I just want to kind of get it moving first.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
but I've
sure.
got 3 episodes on there, and then I'll be working on
cool.
more. So.
When people want to submit to the festival, I know you're not taking submissions now. When does that generally happen?
April.
April.
Yeah, we open up in April, and www.filmfestival.com. We made it kind of simple.
Yeah.
When's the
very-
Is there a deadline?
October 31st.
Yeah, it's
So
always
from April to
October
October.
31st. Yeah.
And then you guys just have to sift through all of them and see,
Yep.
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 because you can only pick so many, right? With the time schedule
Oh
that
yeah.
you guys
I mean, we
Yeah.
have right now. We have about 30 hours of programming available, and that's tight scheduling.
Oh, yeah.
We have room for Q&As and a couple of workshops. Oh, and actually, our filmmaker panel this
Yes,
year, breakfast panel,
yes.
is really great. We have Terry Donnelly from
Scottsdale Community College.
Scottsdale Community College.
That's all
But
right.
he's actually famous for a lot of other films like The Exorcist, and
Yeah.
like he's got a whole rundown
Oh,
of
wow, he
things that
teaches
he's
there,
been
huh?
involved. Yeah, he's one of the instructors there,
Yeah.
but he's been involved with film for a long, long time. He's actually talking about funding and distribution.
Yes.
which is really important for films.
well,
Yes, it is.
we hear a lot about SCC on this show
Oh,
Yeah.
quite a bit. So.
How do you get involved in that panel?
That one we have tickets you can buy for that.
Just off
Yeah.
the website, huh?
Yeah,
Yep.
just off the website. Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's separate. Because it's at a
The
ancillary location. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's La Quinta Inn.
La Quinta Inn over on Scottsdale. No,
It's Shea.
Shea and the 101.
8888
Yeah.
Shea Road.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Easy.
Yeah, it's
How do
really
I-
easy.
How do I get one of those shirts? I want to buy one of those shirts. You sell them?
Ask him.
Yes, we do sell
I
them.
want to rock one on the Bogcast.
So
All right.
I think so. I don't
Okay.
think you have to buy it. I think we can.
We can-
maybe
we-
do that.
I
We'll
like
talk.
to support. I want to
We'll
support.
talk. We'll talk. Wink, wink. We'll talk later.
Yeah, but if you want to buy it, it's $20.
That's true.
Hey,
But how
Yeah, you can
we got
support with your money also.
yeah.
Yeah.
But how we got Terry is my acting coach,
Mentor.
mentor, Mo. She's a teacher there. She teaches acting, directing. She actually knows Terry. And she goes, "Hey, I got an idea." Because I asked her to do, when we first started this, to do the breakfast panel. She goes, "Oh my God, I would love it." And she's come up with some amazing people along the way. And she goes, "Kim, let's talk about content and distribution. What do you think?" Fabulous. Who do you have? I don't know yet.
But she's amazing.
Yeah, she is in her own right.
Yeah, she won a Lifetime Achievement Award
Yeah.
in 2018.
From the women, the Bridge Initiative.
Yeah, and she's based out of California and
Yeah.
here, and she's had a studio where she's taught
Yeah.
theater and done that. That woman is like, she's iconic just
Yeah.
on her own by herself, but her like support and love of what we're doing and just belief
Yeah.
in our system.
that's awesome.
It is.
I'm like, these are the things that we
Yeah.
cannot do without those type
Yeah.
of people that are behind us. And she, like, every year for her to like jump in and be part
Yeah.
of this has been just, I mean, like for me, I'm like, this relieves me of so much
You know, it's
stress.
only going to get better. I mean, I can't
Yeah.
imagine where this is going to be on your 10th anniversary. You know, it's just
Exactly.
the people you guys are going to get involved. I mean, this is
Yeah.
going to be huge.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
and you can't.
You guys
let-
are still in the infancy. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
yeah.
And you guys already have Panavision and these people
Yeah.
coming. I mean, that's pretty spectacular.
And you can't let people like that, who are these mentors and these greats in the industry, not pass on their knowledge.
Oh yeah.
Like that's
well, that's
so
shit people
important.
need to know. No one knows that.
Well,
Distribution
right. Well, see, and that's why this filmmaker panel was always so important to me, is because I've been to other festivals, right? And part of it for me was having this opportunity to be able to bring in people that are tenured, and I've had that opportunity to speak on panels, to moderate panels. I mean, just like even the Chandler International Film Festival, I got to speak to Michelle Rodriguez from Fast and Furious, and interviewed her for her 20-year anniversary of Girl Fight.
Wow.
Let me just tell you. Well, she shared.
Can I check that interview out anywhere?
Chandler International Film Festival, I know, was recording some of that, so check that out with them. But that's just an example, right, of those type of people. We've had like amazing people that are just part of the festival in general. Yeah. And, you know, like we have like I'll have to say a film from last year, Tony Severe, who did Soulless.
Yes. Oh, yeah, I was in that.
Yeah, and that one, and why that one was so great is he had like, how many women in that one? It was like 30,
20 to 30.
It was like 36 women in that film.
Yeah,
that
in front and behind the camera.
Well, I think every actor in Phoenix was in that.
Yeah, but that's somebody like Tony has years of experience in dealing with people in the industry. Maybe not himself as a filmmaker, but he's dealt with people in the industry. And there's a lot of great, like the Phoenix Screenwriters Association is another great group that has a lot of people that are tenured and have years of experience in working in the industry. They're always bringing in education. But these are the types of groups that we have association with, that we actually try to, you know, we work with, we support them, and then in turn they support us. And for me, the education component of what we're doing, that's why we're doing the Ask a Filmmaker podcast there, is because, look, we're doing this so we can help you understand how important this is and give you a platform. Now you can go and take this and do this on your own, or you can work with us or work with another system out here. But now you've got some background on that. Same with this one, funding and distribution. I mean, it's so important for people, because when you do a film, the number one thing is have a budget. Even if you don't have the money, do a budget as if you have the money. And then you will slowly start to figure out how to do that. And that's what I do a lot of coaching business wise, but also in filmmaking, to teach people how to create that possibility of being able to do their own stuff. Right. And I'm like, create a savings, throw in $25 a week till you have this much. And then guess what? Now you can actually pay somebody to do something for you. Yeah. It's that simple. It's the mentality of
no one wants to do that.
Yeah, nobody would, but I know.
Yeah, exactly. It's called discipline.
Yeah, no,
that's exactly it. Yes,
no,
you're creating a discipline that you might not have a discipline for saving money to do this, but you might create that discipline for something else to say, hey, I know how to do this now.
And it's and at the end of the day, it's a business. I don't care if it's your passion. If you really want to be serious about this, it's a business. Everything you should be looking at is with a business mindset. If you do that, it creates it. I mean, it's a normal flow of if you do business. That's why we created our thing as a business. I mean, there's a lot of people that start things, they don't have that formality with it. But everything I've learned, and maybe I'm, a very studious person. I mean, like my whole life I've had goals and stuff like that. Granted, okay, I'm probably an anomaly in that area. But anybody can do this. And it doesn't cost you anything. It's free for yourself if you actually just make yourself start doing things.
Well, one of the things that we talk about on the show a lot, and that me and Keith talk about a lot, is along the lines of making goals, and that's creating a list, creating things that you want to do, and not writing on that
down.
I do that every day. I have
and then
to write
marking
my next
them
day
off.
activities and cross them out. And
and see, but that's good. But I mean, like even what you've created here, think about it. You're on episode 67. Hello. That's discipline. Like right there. Like this is a great example of creating something out of nothing, because it didn't exist until you guys decided to do it. And then now look how you're growing. Now you've got 4 people on your set instead of 3.
We're evolving to 2 guests now. No, I really appreciate you guys.
Yeah, we pushed you. But hey, that's
thank you. Well, it's also one thing to have fun what you're doing too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You got to have fun when you're doing it.
Are you not having fun?
No, I'm saying that when you quit having fun, you quit having fun, you quit wanting to do it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, and it's not for everybody. Yeah, you're right. I mean, a lot of people get confused with doing something as a hobby and then doing something as like they're serious about it, and then actually understanding their passion. Like, is this really your passion? And again, part of my coaching that I do, which I love, is I work with people in their passion. I help them kind of clear their blocks and obstacles, but also fine tune it. I get them to let go of what they shouldn't be focusing on. And that's the whole thing. Is you're right. I mean, you're only going to do what you want to do if you really want to do it. And a lot of people get told, I think from a creative perspective, oh, you don't want to do this because it's not going to make you money. But, and yes, that's true. Creatively, you don't always make money with what you do. But if it feeds your soul and it helps you do other things that do make money, then
well, sometimes certain people like myself, I live that way. Like I have to be some type of creative outlet, or else I just fucking implode, literally.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Like I have to do.
And it's an endless cycle where I'll stress myself out with all these artistic projects, and I'm just like, fuck, I can't wait to have a day off and not do any of this shit. And then the day off, I'm like, I just want to do more shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just an never-ending cycle, you know?
Yeah. And I think that's the beauty of being a creative. It's chaos always. And I mean, and again, not everybody is like that. And I think we also have to recognize that too. We can't expect everybody that's not a creative to understand why we do what we do. Yeah. And it's okay if they don't. Just as long as you always respect yourself for what you do, and you can respect others for having a difference of opinion. Like I've seen people literally get so angry and upset when they can't get somebody to get it. And I'm like, they're never probably going to get it at that point because they don't have that. That's not their makeup. So you got to find, and this is also that community thing about being able to find the people that do get it. Like when I moved here, I'm telling you, I came from the Midwest, and I was not, I mean, I had creativity in my family, but I did not have it at the degree that I was. I was really an anomaly there, and then I came here and I'm still an anomaly. But there's a lot of other people that are anomalies here, and so now we have this.
You fit in better.
I fit. Oh God, this is my home now. I go visit that, but this is where.
Well, Phoenix. When did you move here?
In 2006.
Oh, 6.
So
okay.
I've been here for 14 years. Okay. But this is a creative state. The energy is creative.
But even more so as of recently, just downtown. Like we always talk about how like we finally have it downtown. There's an artistic vibe down here. Yeah. 10 years ago, it was ghetto as fuck down here.
Yeah,
you
it
didn't want
was.
to come
It
down
was.
here.
Yeah.
It's getting better, but the problem is that I feel like it should have been quicker. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
for sure.
I feel like we're stalling.
No, we should have already been more.
I feel like if we don't show, put a spotlight on it, which is one of the things we're trying to do with this show,
right?
Is we have to have an outlet to show people, hey, there is something going on, and not just hear about
Phoenix
it 10
is a
years
badass
later.
City. You hear about music from everywhere, Seattle, here, there, but you never really hear anything about Phoenix. And but there's a bunch of badass motherfuckers here, and we need to. They just. At some point, we'll be put on the map, I think.
Well, and I think the thing is we get put on the map not for the right things.
Well,
wrong way drivers.
Yeah.
And it's always so funny. It's like something, and I'm like, oh God, why Arizona? Why does it have to be us? Why?
It's like us in Florida.
Like I don't get it. Like it doesn't make any sense. So I'm like, so then I have to make up for all that. Like that's what I feel like I have to do sometimes. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't care. I'm proud of that. I'm here, and that I'm part of what is happening now.
Yeah, me too.
And it's just, it's like whatever we can do, to support each other. And like, this has been great. You guys are like fabulous.
Thank you.
Oh no, I really appreciate you taking the time to come on. And
for me, it's great to just have an open forum where you can talk and we can just speak like openly about, stuff, because that's really what needs to happen is more of these type of conversations and like, these chats, or what do they call them? The fireside chat types of things. Because that's it. That's how people know what's going on. And it doesn't have to be like this fast and furious, hey, let's get all this stuff out. Let's
cut to break. And
exactly.
Yeah. It's all about, I think, TV, radio, everything's evolving to that long form conversation.
Neither can I.
I'm like, I pick and choose what I want and I go look at it online. I cannot, it drives my brain. Like not even a minute or two and I'm out.
Yeah,
I'm
it's too negative.
I can't do it.
Too negative.
It's can't. Yeah. So this is great. I mean, everything you're.
Well, do you guys want to plug anything else, like any personal social medias or anything?
Well, I mean, I think most people, if they don't know me, they should know me by my company name, Chronic Behavior.
Yeah.
Great name too.
I love that. Repeated excellence. That's how I bring it
Well, I
down.
think you're thinking of a different Chronic.
I know. Everybody thinks that, but I said it's true. When I did launch my company, I remember people were like, "Why are you?" I don't understand. I'm like, no, it's because that way I don't have to explain the crazy that I am, because it's like in my name.
Yeah.
It like makes it obvious. So if you can deal with that, then you can deal with anything. You'll be good. But the repeated excellence is because I have definitions on my website actually as to what that means. So, you know.
Yeah, you kind of have to.
Yeah, you kind of have to. And, but yeah, and for me, that company has been the open door to everything. It's like I write, I coach, I, do the film productions, I do marketing and promotions. My subject matter expertise in IT is asset management, and more specifically, software asset management.
Going deep.
Yeah,
Yes.
It's really deep. So if you want to protect your company from being audited and be compliant, you want to call me, because that's...
Should watch Mr. Robot.
Yeah, so...
You ever seen that show?
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen
It's
it,
about
so...
IT and getting hacked. You'd love it.
Yeah, so... But I am a freak on, like, infrastructures and data centers and, like, equipment.
So you
and
definitely
stuff, so,
need this creative outlet.
Yeah, I have to have it because I'm left and right brain.
Yeah.
So, and this is why, and I love editing. So for me, I consider film my canvas, and I paint on it with editing. That's what I do.
You
and
edit?
I edit. I do sound. Sound is huge for me. It's probably my number one thing, in that I want more people to do sound. We don't have enough sound people that understand what the quality of that means and how to do it. And I've been makeshifting it for the entire time I've been doing film productions, and I like my sound. So, and it's important. So that's one of the areas that I'm a big advocate for, learning it and teaching it, because I am by no means a sound engineer, but I would love to have the tools to be able to be like that. And then cinematography, like I'm a huge freak on cameras and catching things in frame exactly. And I'm learning. I am still like learning all of that, but
that's where
I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to, put together stuff. And I have like a feature film that we're in post-production on.
That you shot?
Yeah, that I
That's
shot.
cool.
Yeah. And
did you direct it?
No. Well, actually, yes, I did. But it was a combo. Daniel Blunk. It's actually Life of Consequences. So cool. He's the lead actor, and then I did doing the production, but I did shoot a lot of it, and and so we're putting.
When's that drop?
This year.
Sweet.
This year. So yeah, we're in post production right now. Have I think one other major thing, and then we'll be working on sound composition. I have a composer out of LA I'm working with actually for that. So.
Well, I'm making my directorial debut at the end of this year, and I need an editor, so maybe I'll hit you up or something. So I wanted to get someone else to edit it that's kind of not involved in the project, to have that outside viewpoint, and someone's not caught up in it, like with the rest of the crew in a sense. So
what about you, Kim? Where can they find you, and what do you have coming up?
Well, I've been auditioning for projects, and I don't have anything that I can announce quite yet. I do stage management. I've been a stage manager at various productions around town, PA, set designer. I have a side company called My Mountain Products, and what I've done is I've created stickers of the mountains of Phoenix. I've got
very cool.
Yeah, Camelback Mountain, South Mountain, and Piestewa Peak.
I want to buy some of those too. I love stickers.
Okay, cool. And then maybe in a couple of years I'll have some other stickers coming out. But yeah.
That's cool.
And she makes a mean chicken chili and oatmeal cookies.
You could always bring some. You could always bring it.
I have to plug that, because she makes me oatmeal cookies way more than I need them.
Yeah.
But they're so good. And then she's been crafty as well on set sometimes, because small teams, right? Yeah. But she makes a mean chicken chili. So.
Next time we have you back, you're gonna have to bring that.
Okay. Well, it's funny, when they were shooting at my house for using part of the film, and Ava's like, Kim, Daniel's got a request. I'm like, okay, what is it? Can you make your chicken chili for him, please? I'm like, yeah, I think I can. It's okay. Yeah. So yeah.
So all of a sudden you're doing food for the set.
If you feed filmmakers, we work.
Yes.
Like it just works like that. I don't know.
Well, sometimes when you're on set in Phoenix, you have to wear the multiple hats, so
Oh,
you're
true.
acting, you're doing sound, you're making food for everybody.
Yeah.
So.
And to me, while we bring that up where we're wearing multiple hats, the thing is you still have a team. Like we still have 5 to 6 people on set,
It's
because
more
you
IMDb
have
credits.
to. Yeah, you got to do it. And but for me, the one thing that I will say is for our feature films, that's one of the big things. Like any feature film we work on is that my whole thing is to pay people. So that's the one thing is with our project. That's what we do with
that's
the
good.
feature film.
That's rare in Phoenix.
I was about to say,
I just...
we hear that a lot on the show too.
Yeah.
Is that get paid for what you do?
Yes. Yeah. I think.
Yep.
Yeah, that's so important to get paid.
Yeah, and a lot of actors, especially, say that a lot. Get paid for what you do. So it also has to be on the other end too. People on the other end of the camera.
Yep.
Get paid for what you do.
But also, I've heard some other productions. They'll pay the crew, but they won't pay the cast.
Oh wow!
The actors are on the very, very,
very
bottom.
low
Even on
chain.
the major productions, as far as getting paid, everyone's getting paid before them.
But you know what? If my point of view, if you've got money to pay a crew, then you can pay the cast.
Yeah.
Then they'll probably just not pay the crew.
No, okay. Let's say if you're going to give the camera guy,
I know.
$500. Well,
Split it.
Yeah.
Budgeting a film's a nightmare.
Yeah,
it's so hard figuring that shit out.
But again, the way I look at it, I do I've done multi-billion-dollar budgets for films. So and I actually have one that they're doing something with it, but they took the budget that I put together.
Well, I'm
My
not saying
whole
it can't
thing
be
is
done.
also
I'm just
you
saying.
But the deal is you take a budget and you just scale it down.
Yeah.
That's it. Scale it down to what you can absolutely, even if it's
So pay the crew
$5,
half and split it with the actors.
$10, something. And yes, it might be even laughed at. I mean,
I've been paid $10 and shit.
but that's something. It means that you took the effort and the time and energy to do that, even if it's not a lot. But you did what you could. That means something. First off, in your energy effort of putting that out there, but also for somebody to receive that.
Yeah.
Just don't say that you're going to give them 1,000 and give them 10.
Yeah, don't do that.
Exactly.
No,
Yeah.
Just when they think they're getting nothing and you give them chicken chili, you're getting, that's good.
And to me, it's more or less the respect, in that process. So that's what, like I said, I talked to somebody and I said, just start don't do that coffee. Put that $5 towards a production. If you really want to.
No, you need to give coffee to your actors.
Yeah.
I'm
saying you don't drink coffee. They can get coffee. You know what I'm saying.
Sweet. Do you want to do shout outs really quick?
Yeah, let's of course our normal shout outs is That and the Other, AZ ADHD podcast, Strong Heart Academy. Check out Tales from the Flip Side. Check out Absolute Geek Podcast. That's about it. Quick Scope Apparel.
Sweet. You guys have any other plugs or anything?
Oh goodness.
Check out WW Film Festival for all things related to the Worldwide Women's Film Festival. We're February 7th through the 9th at the Shea Harkins 14. Come out. We've got amazing after parties, and the films, every year they're getting better, and they're out of the roof better. I can't even believe the films we've got. They're just...
Well, and that amazing $60,000 grand prize.
That helps.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and Panavision will be in town.
Yes,
so
they will.
We will have the executive in town to give the award. So the awards party, once we get that actually officially announced.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say thank you guys for coming on. It really means a lot that you came to talk to us.
for the
And
opportunity.
you guys are welcome back
Thank you.
anytime if you have a film that you want to promote or whatever, or just want to come bullshit.
Awesome.
So
That's great.
We'll be looking forward to hearing more from you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
if not, we got to at least do this again for every year before.
Oh,
each
man.
festival.
That would be fun.
That would be awesome. So.
All right, and that is a wrap on episode 67 of the Bogcast.
Bang!